welcome back to my channel. I hope you're ready for some ramblings. I'm your host, Rhiannon. Today we're going to be doing a tag that Maria at Lady Knight of Avalon created called How Do You Tarot? And I was gone last week, so I'm back. I'm catching up on the watching your guys' videos and the tags and the things I wanted to do when I was gone. So let's get into it. Number one is, what do I like about tarot? I mean, what don't I like about tarot? I love collecting tarot. I love talking about tarot. I love looking at it. I love learning about it. I love reading tarot. That's what I do for a living. Um, I eat, sleep, drink tarot all day, every day. Sometimes I do get a little bit over it. Like it can occasionally be a little bit overwhelming. Not overwhelming, but like every once in a while I'm like, okay, I've had enough tarot for today, but not very often. What do I use it for? So I am a full-time professional reader, and I work on several different psychic platforms. I do private personal readings as well. So, and I do use it for self-reflection and personal growth and shadow work, but I don't do as many readings for myself as a person might think with this collection. And when I do read for myself, I always make sure I stick to a very structured, um, what is the word? Um, Spread. I find that when you're reading for yourself, because it can be very difficult to be as objective as you need to be. So if you don't have a very firm question or a very firm like reference point to bring it back to, you can just spiral. And a lot of times, I think people don't end up getting very good readings, or they end up making themselves more confused than they started because they're not giving themselves that boundary or that structure that a tarot spread would give, you know. But number three, what is my go-to workhorse deck? The one that I can read with no matter what. And that is by far RWS. And it doesn't matter which one. I do the borderless, I do the plaid back, I do the um, centennial. Like at any given time, I have 4 to 5 RWS decks right on my desk because I need multiple. And like I do so many readings in a day that sometimes my cards will get tired and I can tell that they just need a break. I have a little selenite plate that I keep. This is one of my new favorite decks, because I didn't ever think I would like a plastic deck, but I really do. So this is one of my favorite. It's a beautiful back. This is by witchycauldron.com. But I cannot have enough RWS decks. Right now, I have this one, this one, this one, which I did mod this and make it borderless. For as often as I use these RWS, I don't remember which ones are which. Like as far as the Radiant Smith and the Radiant Wise and the da 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 da. I don't ever, so I don't know what this one is called. This plaid back, but I do know this is the Centennial. Wait, so I have one. I don't know why I just accidentally stopped the video. So anyway, I have 4 of those on my desk right now. The reason I just like the tried and true for me is I have a lot of repeat clientele. And the style in which I read is I'm always going to pull 3 cards for every question. And I very much teach the person the meaning of the card, because as they come back to me over time, they will know that this 4 of Swords means 4 of Swords means 4 of Swords means 4 of Swords. But if I show a 4 of Swords that looks completely different and evokes a different emotion, then that's not going to be consistent. To be a very accurate reader, which I really like to be accurate, because I do predictions. If you're doing like self-reflection and you're doing shadow work, I mean, I'm not saying you don't want it to be accurate, but it's up for your interpretation. When you're doing fortune telling, predictive types readings, you need accuracy. So I need consistency. So I need consistency in symbolism, and I need my clients to know that they can count on that, because over time, I mean, I have clients that will do, I'm not even joking, 4 or 5 readings a week. Okay. I have clients that try to come to me more often than that. And then I try to, tell them that it's not good. But I also have to walk a line where I can't be discouraging clients from the platform, or I could get fired. So anyway, that might be a whole separate rabbit hole of ethics, but I need consistency. So definitely RWS. Number 4 is, what is your for you personality most difficult deck to work with, and why? So according to me personally, sorry, not personality, for me personally, the most difficult deck to work with and why. I wouldn't say like a certain system per se, but I would just say, I have purchased a lot of indie decks that look like they're going to be like beautiful, and I get mesmerized by the art, and then I get them and I just don't feel like the substance is there, or the energy's not there. So or a deck that strays too far from symbolism or doesn't have enough symbolism. For me, that is personally the most difficult decks to work with. Number 5, which decks do I want to study in depth but haven't gotten around to yet? So I wouldn't say that I haven't gotten around to. I would like to dedicate even more time. I've gotten around to most, but I did just receive the Golden Dawn Tarot from Carla, and so that is one that I'm adding. But continuing with Thoth, my Tarot of the Spirit, which is that Kabbalah of the Spirit, those 2 big books right there. I really haven't gotten in depth as much with my Spirit Keeper, my SKT decks right there, because I have the big book of maps on those as well. So those are definitely ones that I want to give more time with. I dig in, and then I get distracted, and then I would like to jump back in on those. Number 6, what is my preferred deck style, and has it changed over time? I think with deck style, it's still just I prefer RWS, but I will say, yes, in time it has changed. I used to like more of the paper cardstock, and there is something special about when a paper deck gets really well worn and it's like so soft and almost buttery, but it just doesn't shuffle the way that I want it to. And actually, so when I was just in Mexico last week, and I was like literally right by the ocean, I had a pretty new deck. It was the other deck that I got. I got 2 RWS style decks from Witchy Cauldron when they sent me that package to review a little while ago. One of them was this one, and I didn't realize, but it's more of a plastic cardstock. And I never thought I would like a plastic deck. But the other one is the one that was the really good one with the keywords for like a beginner person. That's the one I had been working with. And I started to see all these like black spots all over the edges. And I was like, oh my God, these are molding. Like there's mold. It's this deck right here that has like the chakra, the planetary association. I wish that my video camera would focus more. I have been so happy with this computer in every way, except for that. Oh, there we go. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see these black dots? That's like mold. I was like, oh my God, this deck I've only been working with for a few months. But I do use like a spray for clearing. I use the Kate's Magic Aura Mist for purification and protection. I live and die by this spray. I've said it before, I'm not affiliated. But they're Reiki infused, and as a, Usui Holy Fire Reiki Master, Karuna Holy Fire Reiki Master, Terramai Reiki Master, this I can tell energetically it's there. But anyway, so I spray this a lot throughout the day over my crown, and I'll spray my decks to clear them. Oh, it's heavenly. It smells so good. But anyways, I feel like it could have been from that, but then I noticed it even more when we were in Mexico. So anyway, thank God I had brought 2 decks with me on that trip. I had brought this one, because notice again, with all these decks, what do I choose? What's my desert island deck? an RWS. Just give me an RWS deck and I can read tarot. But luckily I had brought this as a backup deck, and it's more of like a plastic. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear that, but like, and I never thought that I would like a plastic deck, but I would say after seeing how that one was molded, I never thought I would prefer plastic, but I do. Okay. That was number 6. What changed over time? Which question would I never ask the tarot? So there are some taboo questions in the tarot world. Some people believe you should never do through third party. There's not really a lot that I wouldn't ask. I don't do the health questions only because on the hotlines we're not allowed to, and I'm not a doctor and go to a doctor. Like, don't ask me if I'm pregnant. It's not because I care ethically. It's because go take a pregnancy test. That's a dumb question to ask. So there really isn't a lot. Like Maria said, I'm not going to ask about my death, but I don't really ever, when I do use tarot for myself, it is for reflection and shadow work. I rarely will pull tarot as a divinatory, like, did so-and-so do such and such. Like, in my life, I feel like I don't need to know everything. I have seen it backfire too many times with other people. We're not meant to know everything all the time. So, for clients, is there any questions I wouldn't ask? Not really. I'll do third party. If you want to know, I don't care. That's not my life, not my problem. I have actually had in private reading somebody ask if somebody was going to die, and I thought it was a little off-putting, but I was like, all right, I'll ask and see what we get. I'm not going to be able to like predict it down to like a day or something, but number 8, when I read for myself, what do I look for and what kinds of questions to ask? So I always use a spread, and I like to I look for real specific questions, not open-ended questions. Like an open-ended question would be like, what does my future look like? Your future is a whole huge period of time. How about what does my future look like in the next 6 weeks? That would be a specific question. So I like detailed. Again, especially when you're reading for yourself or for a friend or a family member, it's very difficult to be as as objective as you need to be. So I like a very structured spread. I don't care so much about the placement of the cards as I care about the specific questions and like the intention with like a deck interview spread. I love a deck interview spread because not only does it have all those specific questions, but you have an overall intention of wanting to get to know that deck. So that's the type of questions and the type of reading that I do for myself. Number 9, I think. After all the things that I've learned about the tarot so far, is there something else about tarot you want to study, research, learn? Yes. I don't feel like I'll ever be done learning. I don't think anybody could ever know everything there is to know about the tarot. There's always layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. I can't think of anything specifically, but like I just know that I will always be a student of the tarot. What advice would I give someone who is just starting to learn tarot? Like Maria said, it's not a race. Although I definitely dove in. Everybody's going to do what they're going to do. I would say, I kind of talked about this the other day on the round table, but I think especially now, because even in the last 3 years, the tarot world is blowing up. It's growing exponentially. And don't think you have to have 300 decks. Don't think you have to have 30 decks. You don't have to be a tarot collector to be a serious tarot person or be considered serious about your craft. And in fact, I think when you try to start collecting too quickly, I think you really do yourself a disservice, because you just need to learn. You need to pick a deck and you need to learn it. So I would pick RWS personally. And when people ask me, I personally recommend RWS. Most of the books are going to be written in that regard. But if you feel drawn to Thoth, then get a Thoth deck and get your Thoth books and stick to Thoth. If you're going to do Golden Dawn, do Golden Dawn. But I would pick one of the traditional. I don't recommend starting with a frou-frou deck. I just don't think it's, I believe that the symbols were here for a reason and they imprint on our subconscious minds the way in which they were designed to. And part of that over time is you're just absorbing it. We think that to be learning the tarot, we have to always be in action of like study and reading, but sometimes we're just absorbing, right? This is kind of like a really just random tip, but I had found that because I didn't really have my Roman numerals memorized, and I found that shuffling my deck and getting it all out of order and then taking like 5 or 10 minutes to re-put the deck back in order from major arcana all the way through the minors really helped me learn my cards, especially the majors. So maybe just take your 22 majors out and just shuffle and put them back in order. Shuffle and put them back in order. That's also going to help you when you're reading with other decks, because you're going to know, because some decks will label the Justice card and some won't. So you'll know number 11 is number 11. You'll know number 15 is the devil. You know, you'll see that and you'll know, oh, okay. That way it does make it easier to start working with some different, more, you know, artistic decks or other fun themed decks. There's nothing wrong with any of the themed fun decks. I love them. Clearly I do. But I don't think it's conducive to learning. And I think that it can cause overwhelm. And so, yeah. And just don't take it too seriously. Don't overcomplicate it. And that would be my only advice. So yeah, those are the questions. And I think that Maria did a great job on this tag. And I look forward to doing some more fun tags. I have something in the works that I want to get going on. I just need to put it together. So look forward to that soon. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.